Senator Josh Hawley represents the state of Missouri. We're always happy to have him on tonight. Great to see you, Senator. So you've been one of the relatively few people in the Congress who's been sounding the alarm on China for a long time. The coronavirus, I think, has highlighted the reasons why that's an important story. Where should we go next?
Well, I think one of the things the coronavirus has done, Tucker, is just lay bare the fact that our globalized economy is an economy that really works for China, first and foremost, and not for the United States, certainly not for American workers. Our supply chains, where are they now? In China. Our medical devices, where are they made? China. Our pharmaceuticals, where are they made? China. Our big tech companies, who do they want to do business with? China. I think it's time that we asked ourselves, what kind of an economy have we allowed to be created, and what is it doing for American workers? We need some structural reform.
I think that's exactly right. In the short term, though, the country is paralyzed by coronavirus, which came from eastern China, of course. What do we know about the Chinese government's cover-up of this virus in its early days?
Well, we know that they suppressed the actual news, and we know that they ordered the whistleblower doctors to keep silent. Of course, one of those doctors at least lost his life because of that. We know that they delayed global response to this virus by weeks that represent thousands of lost lives, Tuckers. There are studies out there that show that if we'd had more time to deal with this, many, many lives could have been saved. So listen, the Chinese Communist Party has systematically lied to its own people who paid the price. They lied to the world. Now we're all paying the price. And that's why I think we ought to have an international investigation about where this originated. We know where it was. It was China. China ought to be held to account, and they ought to be made to foot the bill for what the world, including the United States, is now suffering.
I agree with that absolutely and completely. But sort of off topic, but I have to ask you, are you heartened by the economic support plan taking shape in Washington right now? Do you think it's good or bad?
You know, I think that I'm heartened by the president's aggressive response here. I'm heartened by his desire to go big. I'm heartened by the idea that we ought to be giving direct relief to families in particular. Families need relief. I do think that it's important that low-income families not be left out, not be punished. Any kind of relief shouldn't be regressive, Tucker. Families, working families, need relief, and they ought to get it.
Amen. Senator, thanks a lot for coming on tonight. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.